just want to look at these times and seasons that we are in. It's important we know the times and seasons, like the Bible said about men of Issachar who knew the times and the seasons. I want us to see a scripture in 2 Timothy chapter 3. 2 Timothy chapter 3, yes, from verse 1. This know also, so is the Bible, the scripture. Paul is admonishing us to be in the know, to not to be ignorant. You know, and then he said, this and also that in the last days perilous times shall come. Now, what is the word for perilous times? Are times that are hard to bear, hard to do, troublesome times, times that are harsh and fierce, and also savage times. And they began to give us the characteristics of these last days. We know we are in the last days. All the signs, the Bible is being played out in clear pictures, in clear signs. So we know we are in the last days. And there are instructions in the Bible on how to live in this perilous time. So, like I said, perilous times are hard to bear times, difficult times, hard to do, troublesome, dangerous, harsh, and fierce times. Now, he said these are the things that will be happening. He said, men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemous, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breaker, false accuser, incontinent, fierce, you see, despisers of that which is good, traitors, heady-minded, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such men turn away. Now, what is this perilous time after? What is the enemy after in this perilous times? Very simple. 1 Timothy chapter 4. The Bible says from verse 1, now the Spirit speaketh expressly. That means when you see in Revelation, the letter to the churches, Jesus kept saying, he that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying. He that has an ear, repeated it 7 times. So it's very pertinent and important that we hear what the Spirit is saying. There is what the Spirit is saying for now. There is what men are saying. We listen to what the Spirit is saying. Very important, or else we will not be able to overcome these perilous times. We will be caught in the snare of these perilous times. Praise the Lord. And so this is what the enemy is primarily after. You see, now the Spirit speaketh expressly. That means this expressly, clearly, constantly, is speaking constantly, clearly, through his various means of communication. The Spirit is warning us, exhorting us, teaching us, comforting us, rebuking us, so that we will be counted worthy to escape all these things that are already happening. Now, what is the Spirit? The Spirit of this age. What is the Spirit of this age speaking? And what is the Spirit of this age after? It's very simple here. The Bible lets us know. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith. What the spirit of this age, or the Antichrist is anti the life of Christ, or faith life. What he is attacking is faith life. which is the life of God, which is the gene of God, the DNA of God, how God lives, because this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our faith. Our faith. And Jude lets us, admonishes us to contend earnestly. Why? That is the spirit of the age that wants us to depart from the faith. And if we depart from the faith, we will depart from the living God. Because without faith, it is impossible to please God. They that must come to God, you see, comers. That is the essence of the gospel. We come to God. Come. That is how we overcome the world, by coming to God. And so the essence of the gospel, or the faith life, is to overcome this world, which is the woman of Satan. Just as Jesus has his bride, he also has his bride, which is this world. And like I said, he wants us to depart from the faith. When we depart from the faith, we will depart from the living God. Because the way to come to God is a faith part. Is a part of faith. It's faith life. Praise the name of the Lord. Now, how will he do it? He will bring seducing spirits and doctrines. Not one doctrine. Doctrines of devils. How will he make us depart from the faith in these latter times? Because the Spirit speaker is warning us, is warning the church. Seducing spirits and doctrines of devils will be so, the activities of these agents of Satan will increase so dramatically that the Bible says, if the elect do not take care, do not watch and pray, they themselves will be deceived. So it's high level of deception through seduction. What is seduction? It's to woo the soul. It's to woo a simple soul. Like in Proverbs, there was a woman who saw a soul, a young soul without understanding. He was going through her path, and then she came and met him and kissed him. Is to make the soul fall in love with this world. She kissed him. That kiss is love. It's covenant, because you seal covenants with kiss. Songs of Solomon tells about that, the kiss of the Lord. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his lips. It's the speaking of the Spirit. That is how the bride, the bride kisses the bridegroom and makes the, of course, we know scientifically, we know when you are married and you and your wife are kissing, there is a transference of genes. That is how the Lord transfers his genes into our soul, so that the soul will not be simple. A simple soul will be deceived. A simple soul will be seduced. You can see that woman in Revelation 17, the way she's attired. Even John wondered at her with great admiration. Is seduction. She oozes a life of seduction. That's the woman of Satan. So you see, what he uses is seducing spirits and doctrines. Once he seduces you, he will teach you doctrines of Satan. He will teach you. The doctrines are teachings. The seduction is to pull you out of faith life. Because when you are on the path of faith, it can't reach you. There is an edge of God. There is protection. You are sealed. So this seducing spirit, they will come with another gospel. There is another, yet not another. And that's why Paul was warning in Galatians. If we or another person or an angel comes with another gospel that you don't have, you don't give him heed. It's better will be accursed. Call him accursed. Because another gospel is the cause of this spirit of the age is a curse. It's to curse man out of the path of faith. And once you are out of faith path, it's a curse. It's an anathema. Praise the name of Jesus. So, seducing spirit and then doctrine, they are teachings. Revelation talked about the woman Jezebel is the spirit of the age. It's not just a physical woman, it's the spirit of the age. Jezebel that kills the prophetic life. What she's after is the prophetic life, which is faith life. Faith life is the prophetic life, and so she's after prophets. She wants to cut off the neck of prophet. We see how it happened in the day of John the Baptist. Herodias, she wore the spirit of Jezebel, the same spirit that wanted to cut off the neck of Elijah. It's the same, because it was the same wearing. John the Baptist was wearing that same spirit to bring judgment to Jezebel. So she morphed and then found a body in Herodias, and then entered Herodias, and she was after the head of John the Baptist. The seducing spirit hates the prophetic life, hates prophets. Oh my God, hates that part of God. And the first prophet of the part that was martyred was Abel, righteous Abel. Cain. That spirit came upon Cain and he murdered that faith life. That's the first martyr. It wasn't Stephen, it was Abel. It was the first martyr of this life. They began that journey of the faith life. So he wants us to depart so that, and Jesus said, if the Son of Man can really find faith, because he knows what the latter times, the pressure of the latter time, the pressure from this seducing spirit, the pressure. Now, they don't come oftentimes bare-faced. They seduce, they woo, they entice. A simple soul. I was talking about the simple soul who was walking by her car, and then she came and kissed him and grabbed him and said, I have prepared my bed. My master is gone. Her master is Satan. Her master is the dragon. But he was lying to that simple soul. My master has taken a far journey. You can fornicate with me and you will go scot-free. It's a lie. That's what she was offering him. You can fornicate with me. We can quickly have our love. Because the soul was made for love. This is important. This is powerful. And so she got him and kissed him and took him to her bed and slay that simple soul there. So you see, like I said, what the spirit of the age is after is for us to depart from the faith. And when we depart from the faith, we will depart from the living God, which is the destiny of every soul. Every man, the destiny is to come to God. So, it's important we understand that we are in the last days, the final lap. And we know in relay races, you put your best runners at the last round. And one thing with relay races is you have a baton. Amen. And one training they give all relay runners is the accurate passing on of the baton. Now, in our spiritual relay race, some people started it. Hebrews chapter 11, you see the heroes of faith who started this race. Abraham, we saw Moses, we saw Cain, we saw Noah, who were passing it to their generation. One thing God talked about Abraham, he said, I know Abraham. He will command his children after the Lord. And so they pass this baton, and what Satan wants is to make sure this faith life dies. And Jesus said, if I come, will I find faith? So, seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. This is the means the enemy uses in these perilous times to make us depart from the faith. Praise the Lord.